stop now. Observe your current thinking. Is it your thought, or simply a neural habit repeated thousands of times? What if I told you that that voice in your head, the one that constantly judges your abilities and limits your dreams, is not really you? This is a graph. A sequence of neural circuits so familiar that you confuse it with your identity. The most surprising thing is that your brain does not distinguish between what you experience and what you constantly think about. For your body, every thought is a biochemical reality. Every word you say to yourself activates certain neural networks, releasing chemical compounds that make you feel exactly what your words command. When you wake up thinking, "I can't do this, this is too hard for me," or "I'll never succeed," your body loyally obeys and sets itself up for failure, not because it's true, but because you've programmed it to react that way. Dr. Richard Davidson, a neuroscientist at the University of Wisconsin, has shown through neuroimaging that each repetitive thought pattern literally creates neural highways in the brain. The more you think about something, the more automatic and real it becomes. Most people live in a state of mental autopilot, repeating the same thoughts day after day, year after year. These people are not victims of external circumstances, but of their own internal programming. The most effective prison is one in which the bars are invisible and you are the jailer. Think about it. You pride yourself on your physical independence, but you allow your mind to be controlled by programs created over decades, by well-meaning parents, narrow-minded teachers, misinterpreted experiences, or unprocessed trauma. Scary? Yes. Transformer? Absolutely. Because the same mechanism that perpetuates your limitations can free you from them. The same neuronal plasticity that allowed these limiting programs to be installed will be the key to your liberation. Your brain processes around 60,000 thoughts every day. The shocking thing, research from Stanford University shows that 90% of them are exactly the same as the day before. And the day before. And last year. This explains why so many people feel trapped in repeating cycles, same thoughts, same feelings, same choices, same results. Visualize it, each recurring thought is like water flowing down the same gorge, deepening it with each step. In the end, water, your thoughts, automatically follows this path, not because it is the only path, but because it is the easiest. This is what most personal development experts never explain. The challenge is not learning new ideas. This is overcoming the biochemical resistance of your body, which has literally developed a dependence on the chemicals produced by your habitual thoughts. When you try to change your mental patterns, your body protests. He believes he is dying because he is not getting his usual chemical dose. This resistance is not a weakness, it is pure biology. Dr. Candace Pert, neuroscientist and pharmacologist, has discovered that repetitive thoughts create special, emotion molecules. Your body develops cellular receptors for these molecules, literally becoming dependent on your habitual thought patterns, whether positive or negative. The conclusion is revolutionary. Your resistance to change is not only psychological, but also cellular. When you try to think differently, trillions of cells in your body crave your usual, emotional drug. This is why superficial positive statements often fail. You are not simply trying to change thoughts, you are trying to reconfigure an entire biochemical system that will resist with all its might. Dr. Carl Jung documents in his research that to overcome this resistance, you must not only change your thoughts, but also generate and maintain emotional states that correspond to these new thoughts. Thought is an electrical effect, emotion is a magnetic effect. Together they create an electromagnetic field that begins to attract corresponding experiences. Research from the HeartMath Institute shows something interesting. When you combine positive thoughts with corresponding emotions, your heart emits an electromagnetic field that is 60 times more powerful than your brain. This field not only affects your biology, but also interacts with the quantum field around you. This is not a New Age philosophy. This is measurable biophysics. And this is the key to understanding why some people achieve radical transformation while others remain stuck in a cycle of trial and error. For true transformation, you need to understand, your brain does not respond to weak intentions. Responds to clear, repetitive and emotionally charged commands. When you talk to yourself, you are literally programming your neural circuits and your genetic expression. I am going to reveal to you the exact 3-day protocol that will reorganize your neural structures. This is not something you can experiment with casually. It is a neurobiological intervention designed to break decades of programming in just 72 hours. This protocol has been refined by working with thousands of people in different cultural and social contexts. These principles are universal because they are based on the general neurobiological structure of humans. Partially following this protocol is like trying to flip a switch halfway. It just doesn't work. Transformation requires total commitment. Day 1, Interruption of simulations. Morning, first 20 minutes after waking up. The hypnagogic period between sleep and wakefulness is when the brain operates primarily in theta waves, an ideal state for reprogramming. Even before checking your phone. Place your hand over your heart. This gesture activates pressure receptors that increase the production of oxytocin, preparing your nervous system for the changes. Breathe deeply 3 times, expanding first your belly and then your chest. Inhale for 5 seconds, hold your breath for 2 seconds, and exhale for 7 seconds. Say out loud, slowly and consciously, "Today I am free from all the limitations of my past. My body awakens to unlimited possibilities. My mind is alert, my heart is open and my energy is abundant." Repeat this affirmation for 7 minutes, allowing the corresponding positive emotions to arise naturally. It is very important to feel the words and not just say them. Visualize yourself going through the day with lots of energy, solving problems with ease, and feeling constant gratitude. Use all your senses, see colors, hear voices, feel the physical sensations of this new state. Before you get out of bed, say out loud, "This is the first day of my new reality. I'm ready." Noon, between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Chronobiological research shows that this period coincides with a natural decrease in energy, making it ideal for reinforcing new programs and avoiding a return to old patterns. Find your personal space in just 5 minutes. It could be your car, the bathroom, an empty room, or even a quiet corner of the park. Make big movements while repeating your morning affirmations. Physical movement improves the neural impact of affirmations. Add specific details related to the problems you encountered that morning. I respond to problems creatively. I attract great opportunities. I deserve abundance in all areas. Use the anchor technique. While you are in a fit of positive emotions, firmly squeeze your thumb and middle finger. This physical-emotional association creates a neural shortcut that you can instantly activate in challenging situations. Finish with 3 vigorous breaths. Inhale quickly through your nostrils and exhale in short bursts through your mouth, as if you were blowing through a straw. Night, between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. During this period, your brain naturally processes the day's events, consolidating memories and learning. Spend a full 15 minutes on this without distractions. Turn off notifications and create a calm environment. Place your hand over your heart again and breathe deeply. Repeating the morning gesture strengthens the new neural circuit. List out loud 3 specific ways you demonstrated your new thinking patterns throughout the day. Be as specific as possible. When X happened, instead of my usual reaction Y, I chose Z. Also identify a time when you fell back into old habits. Don't criticize yourself for this. Just admit, when this happened, I went back to the old pattern. Tomorrow, in a similar situation, I will choose another one. Say with emotional conviction, today I created new neural pathways. I am moving beyond my past. Tomorrow I will bring even more awareness of my choices. Visualize your brain literally making new connections while you sleep, reinforcing your new programming. Continuous monitoring. Keep a small notebook throughout the day. Whenever you notice a limiting thought, write it down immediately and write it again. Example. I was struck by the thought, "This is too hard for me." Rewritten, I have enough intelligence to understand any concept at my own pace. The thought is captured, they will never approve of my idea. Rewritten, I present my ideas clearly and confidently, attracting natural support. The thought occurred to me, I always don't have enough money at the end of the month. Rewritten, I am developing financial management skills that continually increase my wealth. This journal is not just an exercise, it is a physical documentation of the reprogramming of your nervous system that is taking place. The writing process involves different neural circuits than those involved in thinking, which increases interference. Day 2, Deepening New Standards. The second day, keep the same protocol, but add the following parameters. In the morning, before we start with the affirmations, imagine yourself a year from now when you have fully established these new standards. Be grateful for this future version of yourself that gives you strength in the present. At noon, identify a challenging situation that you used to fear. Visualize yourself facing it in a new state of mind. Be very specific about how you behave, speak, and react differently. At night, add a note of gratitude to your brain for your ability to create new neural circuits and abandon outdated patterns. Day 3, Integration and Future Forecasts. On the third day, it preserves all the previous elements, but adds. In the morning, speak out loud your intentions for the next 90 days as if they have already come true. Use the present tense. At noon, practice the future self technique. Imagine yourself 3 years in advance, sending you wisdom and guidance in the present. At night, create a mind map or visual diagram of the areas of your life that will be transformed by the new patterns. Connect each area to the specific benefits you will begin to experience. Maria, a 42-year-old executive, suffered from severe anxiety before presentations. After 3 days of strictly applying this protocol, he was able to make a major investor presentation without medication for the first time in 15 years. The difference was not just emotional, he explains. I noticed that my body was not producing the usual physical symptoms, shaking, sweating, palpitations. It's as if my nervous system had been recalibrated. On the first day, Maria experienced serious discomfort. My body felt like it was in withdrawal. At 3 p.m., I started feeling headaches and extreme fatigue. But instead of giving up, I recognized this as evidence that I was changing deep patterns. After 30 days of using the shorter version of the protocol, he noticed his colleagues commenting on his new presence. Proposals that had previously been rejected were approved when presented with a new trust. Carlos, a 35-year-old entrepreneur who faced constant financial obstacles, says, "On the second day, I found that I was naturally coming up with innovative ideas for my business. The most surprising thing was how people started reacting differently to me in negotiations. My relationship with money has always been complicated," he explains. "I grew up hearing that money is tight and business is tough. This internal dialogue stayed with me for decades, even though I didn't realize it." After the protocol, Carlos implemented a new project that increased his income by 37% during the next 60 days. It wasn't magic. It was access to ideas and possibilities that were always available, but that my previous programming didn't allow me to see. Sophia, a 28-year-old medical student, used this protocol to overcome learning paralysis. "I always told myself that I was a fraud, that I entered university by luck and that at any moment they would discover me. This dialogue constantly sabotaged me." During the protocol, he specifically encountered this model of imposter syndrome. On the third day, I realized that that voice was not my truth, it was a recording based on past experiences of rejection. 6 weeks later, Sophia achieved the best result on an important exam. But the real victory was internal. For the first time, I studied with confidence instead of fear. The difference in my levels of memorization and creativity was astonishing. Consistent pattern, internal changes give rise to new external reactions. Dr. Elena Marquez, a neuropsychologist who followed 87 people using this protocol, notes, "What we see all the time are not just temporary changes in mood. The scans show changes in beta and theta brain waves, indicating new patterns of cognitive processing that persist for several weeks after the initial intervention. What is particularly notable, he adds, is how heart rate variability, a marker of emotional stability, improves after just 3 days of an intervention focused on self-talk. In a study group of 42 participants using electroencephalography, EEG, 89% showed a significant increase in left frontal brain activity associated with positive emotional states and stress resistance after completing the protocol. Here's what no one admits about transformation: your body will fight it. On days 2 and 3 you will most likely experience 1. Sudden fatigue. Your body is trying to force you to return to your usual patterns. Correct answer. Please note, this fatigue is not an actual lack of energy. It is a biochemical resistance to change. Increase physical movement for 5 minutes. Clap your hands vigorously. Hop. Dance. Physical movement breaks the pattern of lethargy. 2. Increase in negative thoughts. Your brain turns up the volume as a last resort. Correct answer. I see these amplified thoughts as evidence that I am influencing deep-rooted agendas. Continue the protocol at double intensity. Use the observer technique. I notice these thoughts, but I am not those thoughts. 3. Growing doubt. Is this true? Am I wasting my time? Correct answer. Understand that doubt is the main defense mechanism of the old system. Continue for 60 seconds, pushing through the discomfort to break the pattern. Say out loud, doubt is just resistance disguised as reason. 4. External sabotage. People around you notice your changes and unconsciously try to get you to return to your usual behavior. Correct answer. Recognize that others like the normal version of you. Don't announce your internal changes, let the results speak for themselves. 5. Temporary return to old patterns, especially under stress. Correct answer. Don't interpret relapses as failures. Use them as an opportunity to consciously reinforce new patterns. I noticed the old pattern and now I choose another one. Specific techniques for difficult moments. Resetting your breathing technique. If you feel overwhelmed, use 4-7-8 breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, and exhale for 8. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, neutralizing physical resistance. Pattern interruption technique. When you feel negative thoughts increasing, clap your hands once firmly and say, change. This intermittent pattern creates a neurologically neutral space for the insertion of a new thought. Positive reinforcement technique. Keep a small object, smooth stone, special coin, in your pocket. Touch it as a physical reminder of your new habits when you feel resistance. Research shows that 87% of people stop trying to change a situation when they start seeing results. Don't be a statistic. An important sign of progress, a growing discomfort followed by sudden clarity. This pattern, discomfort clarity, is the most reliable indicator that you are truly changing deep circuits, and not simply applying superficial, mental bandages. By the end of the 3rd day, you will have created the neurological foundation for lasting transformation. But true integration requires 1. Constant maintenance. Continue the morning and evening practice for another 60 days, even if you reduce it to 5 minutes. Neuroscience shows that it takes approximately 63 days for new neural circuits to consolidate. Create a solid minimal sequence, an ultra-short version you can do on even your busiest days. Example. 3 deep breaths. Hand on the heart. The main statement is repeated 3 times. 30-second preview. This sequence should not exceed 2 minutes, excluding any excuse for not completing it. 2. Environmental triggers. Create visual reminders in strategic places, bathroom mirror, desk, car dashboard, cell phone screensaver, with keywords from your new self-talk. Every impact, even peripheral, strengthens new connections. Make significant changes to your physical environment, rearrange your room, change your route to work, rearrange the items on your desk. These external changes support the internal reorganization of neurons, destroying associations with old mental states. If possible, create a sacred space in your home, a special corner, chair, or even a pillow associated solely with your psychic reprogramming practice. The brain quickly associates this physical space with your new mental state. 3. Natural expansion. As your new standards become stronger, expand them in specific areas. Financial. I attract resources naturally and manage them with wisdom and ease. My relationship with money is constantly improving. I see opportunities where I once saw obstacles. Relationship. I attract relationships that reflect my new level of consciousness. I naturally set healthy boundaries. I communicate with clarity and compassion. Health. Every cell in my body responds to my commands for vitality and renewal. My body is a perfect self-regulating and healing system. I choose foods and activities that keep me at optimal energy. Creativity. I am an open channel for innovative ideas. My creative expression flows effortlessly. I turn inspiration into concrete actions. Aim. I recognize and honor my unique talents. My contribution to the world naturally increases. I attract opportunities that align with my deepest values. 4. Reinforcement community. Behavioral research shows that sustainable transformation increases by 70% when shared with at least one person who supports it. Find an accountability partner or community that respects your process. Ideally, connect with someone who also practices mental reprogramming to provide mutual support. Arrange regular check-ins that focus specifically on your self-talk and any changes you notice. Do not share your practice with skeptical or negative people during the first weeks of practice. New neural circuits are inherently fragile and can be easily destabilized by external doubts. 5. Milestones of progress. Every 30 days, formally document observed changes in repetitive emotional patterns, quality of solutions, answer calls, unexpected opportunities, external comments from others. This documentation becomes physical evidence of your new neurological pattern, reinforcing it in a virtuous cycle. Create a reward system to celebrate important milestones. These celebrations are not frivolous. They are powerful biochemical signals to the brain that the new lifestyle is worth it in terms of survival and prosperity. 6. Continuous evolution. True mastery is not about achieving a fixed state, but about developing the capacity for continuous evolution. Every 90 days, review and refine your internal dialogue to reflect your expanded consciousness. Remember, this work is not about achieving perfection, but about developing neural autonomy, the ability to consciously rewire your brain in response to new challenges and opportunities. Now you have an unprecedented choice. Continue working with the same neural circuits that created your current reality. Or take just 72 hours to begin a complete reprogramming of your mental operating system. The cutting-edge neuroscience I shared today was not available to previous generations. You now have the knowledge to literally reconfigure the biological basis of your experience. Consider the life of an older person who looks back and realizes that they have lived for decades repeating the same limiting patterns, never realizing that they have the power to change them. How much freedom, joy, and contribution is left on the table? Now imagine yourself 10 years from now having mastered the art of conscious self-talk. Visualize how you behave, the opportunities you create, the relationships you develop, and the inner peace you experience. It all starts with these 3 days. Remember, your brain does not distinguish between external reality and irresistible internal commands. When you change your internal dialogue with sustained intentionality and corresponding emotions, you don't just think differently, you become a new biological being. Your transformation is not only possible, but with this protocol it is almost inevitable. The only variable is your decision to start. 3 days. 72 hours. A new one is waiting for you. The question is not whether you can change. Science shows that this is possible. The question is, will you choose? Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss news. By activating the bell, you will receive a notification as soon as we publish new content. Our community grows every day and we want you to participate in this continuous growth with us. Share this video with friends, family, or colleagues who may benefit from this information. Sharing knowledge is one of the most powerful forms of transformation. Until the next video.